You are exhausted. Not just tired, but the kind of exhausted that sits behind your eyes and follows you into your sleep. You wake up Monday morning and before your feet even touch the floor, you already know exactly how the next 5 days are going to feel. The alarm goes off, you drag yourself through the same routine, you sit in the same traffic or stare at the same screen, and you trade hours of your one and only life for a paycheck that disappears almost as fast as it arrives. And the worst part, the part that nobody talks about at the dinner table, is that you already know this is not how it is supposed to be. You have thought about it. Late at night when the house is quiet and your phone is the only light in the room, you have scrolled through ideas, watched videos, read articles, wondering if there is something out there that actually works. Something real. Something that does not require you to become someone you are not, or gamble your savings on something you do not understand. And most of what you find feels either too complicated or too good to be true. So stay with me, because what I am about to share with you is neither of those things. There is a rental strategy that has been quietly building wealth for ordinary people who had no special connections, no massive savings accounts, and no real estate experience whatsoever. People who started exactly where you are right now. And this strategy, when it is working correctly, generates income whether you are at your desk, at dinner with your family, or sound asleep. That is not a slogan. That is just what passive income actually looks like when the system is set up properly. Now, before I go any further, I want to tell you something important. There is a program linked in the description of this video. It walks you through this entire strategy step by step. I am not going to spend this whole video talking about it because honestly, I want to give you real value right here, right now, and let the information speak for itself. But I will say this once and I will mean it. If you have been sitting on the fence about doing something different with your financial life, the people who are already inside this program are moving. They are not waiting. And the window for getting in with the current structure will not stay open indefinitely. So keep that in mind as we go through this. Now let me paint you a picture. Imagine you own nothing, no property, no rental units, no real estate at all, but you have a spare bedroom. Or maybe you have access to a short-term lease on a property you do not own. What if that space, that ordinary, unremarkable space, could generate thousands of dollars a month while you go about your life? This is the foundation of what people call rental arbitrage, and it is one of the most powerful and underutilized income strategies available to everyday people right now. The concept is beautifully simple. You lease a property from a landlord, you furnish it, you list it on short-term rental platforms, and you collect the difference between what guests pay and what you pay in rent. That gap, that beautiful gap, is your profit. And I know what your brain just did. It said, wait, that sounds risky. That sounds complicated. That sounds like something that works for someone else but probably not for me. I hear that. I understand that hesitation deeply, because that voice has kept more people stuck than any lack of money or opportunity ever has. Let me address the fear directly. You are afraid of losing money. You are afraid of getting locked into a lease you cannot get out of. You are afraid that guests will destroy the place, or that the platform will not send you enough bookings to cover your costs. You are afraid that by the time you figure it all out, the opportunity will be gone. Those fears are not irrational. They are actually exactly the right fears to have because they show that you are thinking seriously about this. And the people who have built real income from this strategy had every single one of those same fears before they started. Here's what changed for them. They stopped letting the fear make the decision and they started getting educated. Let me show you the numbers, because numbers do not have emotions and they cut through doubt faster than anything else I could say to you. The average short-term rental in a mid-tier city generates somewhere between $2,000 and $5,000 per month in revenue. The average monthly lease on an apartment or house suitable for short-term rental might run between $1,000 and $2,000. Furniture and setup, done smartly, can cost between $2,000 and $5,000 total as a one-time investment. That means within the first 60 to 90 days, many people who execute this correctly have already recouped their setup costs and are running at profit, month after month after month. Think about what that actually means in real human terms. That is your car payment covered. That is your grocery bill handled. That is an extra $2,000 a month you did not have before. Flowing in while you're doing absolutely nothing, because the guests have already booked, the automated messages have already sent, and the cleaning crew has already been scheduled through a system you set up once and now just monitors. This is the part that changes people. Not the concept, but the moment it becomes real to them. The moment they check their phone on a Tuesday afternoon while they are eating lunch at their desk, and they see a notification that a booking just came in for $500 for the weekend, and they did not have to do anything to get it. That notification hits differently, because it is proof, undeniable financial proof that the formula works. Now here is where I want to be really honest with you, because this is not a strategy for everyone, and I respect you too much to pretend otherwise. If you are someone who is looking for a get-rich-quick scheme, if you want money tomorrow without putting in any effort or learning curve whatsoever, this is not your thing. I am not going to waste your time, and you should not waste mine. Passive income is real, but it is not magic. There is a setup phase. There is learning involved. There is a window of weeks, sometimes months, before the system is truly running on its own. But if you are someone who is willing to invest a short period of focused energy into building something that could fundamentally change your financial reality for years to come, then what I am sharing with you today is one of the most legitimate pathways available to you right now in this economy. Because here is the truth that the traditional financial world does not want to talk about. The stock market requires capital you may not have. Starting a business from scratch requires years of grinding, with no guarantee. Climbing the corporate ladder requires you to trade decades of your life for someone else's dream. But rental arbitrage, done right, lets someone with minimal startup capital create a real income stream that compounds over time and does not require you to be present for it to work. And the authority behind the strategy is not new. Real estate has been the single greatest wealth-building vehicle in human history. The ultra-wealthy have known this for generations. What has changed is that short-term rental platforms have democratized access to that system. You no longer need to own property to profit from it. You just need to understand how the strategy works and execute it correctly. The people who are doing this right now are not financial geniuses. They are not trust fund kids with unlimited resources. They are people who were working jobs they tolerated, living paycheck to paycheck, feeling that quiet anxiety that comes when you do the math and realize the numbers just do not add up. They found this strategy, they took it seriously, they set up one unit, and then they set up another. And somewhere along the way, the income from their rentals quietly surpassed the income from their job. That moment, that specific moment when the passive income crosses the active income line, that is the moment everything changes, because suddenly your job becomes optional, not irresponsible, not abandoned, just optional. And there is no feeling in the world like having options. Now I want to talk about time, because time is the real currency here, and most of us are hemorrhaging it without realizing what it is costing us. Every year you spend at a job that does not serve your goals is a year of compounding time wasted. And unlike money, time does not come back. The person who started this strategy 2 years ago and set up 3 rental units is now collecting income every single month on autopilot, while the person who kept saying they would look into it eventually is still exactly where they were. That gap grows every single month. And this is the most painful thing I can say to you, but I am going to say it anyway because I think you deserve honesty. Waiting has a cost. Inaction is not neutral. Every month you spend not building a passive income system is a month you spend trading your time for money at someone else's rate. The setup costs real money and a real window of focused time. But the alternative is spending the rest of your working life renting your hours to someone else with no ownership stake in the outcome whatsoever. So here is where we land. You have a choice in front of you right now. Not a vague future choice, a real choice, today, about what direction you point your energy. You can close this video and go back to the familiar, the comfortable, the known, the exhausting, or you can take the next step. The program in the description below is the most complete system I have seen for taking someone from zero understanding of this strategy to a fully operational short-term rental income stream. It is built specifically for people who are starting from scratch, who have real concerns about risk, and who need a proven framework rather than scattered information they have to piece together themselves. The people who move on this, who actually click that link and commit to the process, are the ones you are going to hear about in a year talking about the moment everything shifted for them. They are not smarter than you. They are not luckier than you. They just decided that waiting for the perfect moment was a luxury they could no longer afford. The link is in the description. That is all I am going to say. What you do with it is entirely up to you.